Hi guys, today we're going to be discussing the moon missions that happened back in 1969. And what I'm showing you here and in Maya is a little 3D view of the Earth and the moon. And what I did is I set up the Earth so that it's the, as far as we know, the proper size versus the moon. And with these little balls here, these yellow markers, are to indicate each day's trip if you're going from the Earth to the moon. So 4-day trip, 4-day trip back. That's what we're told. So if we look at this, let's look at it from the standpoint of each trip. So we take off from the Earth. Okay, we get rid of all the extra weight, all the booster rockets and everything falls down. Then we travel. Now we travel to a destination point. Okay, that's your first destination point. That's your first day. So in the first day, that's what we're going to be discussing, first, second, and third. But we'll start in the first day. In the first day, what should you be seeing looking back at the Earth? Well, let's look at there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pan around. And what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the marker to show you what a back view of the marker looks like. Gives you a general view of what the Earth is supposed to look like from 1 day away. So if you want it to be more specific on top of the marker, that's what the Earth would look like. Okay? So the astronauts should have footage of the Earth from 1 day away. Okay, now what we're going to do is going to go back again here. Is I'm going to go and look at the Earth from the second day. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pan around. There's the Earth. Now, here's an interesting concept. If you can see the Earth from the second day, what about the moon? Well, in my model, I can see it. If the Earth and the moon are so far apart that you cannot see the moon from the second day, you should still be able to see the Earth from the second day. So there should be absolutely no issues with having footage of the Earth from the second day. Okay? And now we move on to the third day. Okay? So on the third day, 1 day away from the moon, in my model, you see the moon. If you can't see the moon from the third day and it's still that far out, the Earth is still there, and so would be the moon. So the third day is the critical day, because on the third day, if they show the Earth in any footage, obviously if you turn around, if you pan the camera just a 180 around, you would see the moon. And if they showed you footage of the moon on the third day, then obviously if you can see the moon, then you can most likely see the Earth from the third day as well. But the key for me is the second day. Okay, it's always been that, because if you can see the moon from the second day, so you can see the Earth. So if we go back to the second day of the trip, and if the astronauts took a 5-minute film section, 5 minutes, you don't need to film the Earth for hours and hours, a 5-minute footage of the second day displaying the Earth and a 180 pan of the moon. Okay, so 180 pan, Earth, and then the moon. This is the evidence and footage that's missing. See, I'm going to show you a different display port here. We have tons and tons of evidence of them being here on top of the Earth, taking off, being, floating above the Earth. And then we have obviously dozens of hours of moonwalk footage. Everybody's seen those. But the missing element of the trip is in the middle. If this trip takes 4 days to get there, well, obviously you're going to be busy for 4 days, monitoring the machines, the the propulsion systems, how much fuel you have. You're going to be monitoring a lot of stuff, but you're also going to be taking notes. You're going to be writing things down that you see. Okay, and you will have to have some kind of record of what you've seen. And since they took a lot of cameras and film equipment, because obviously they had to record this trip if they're going to broadcast it, that means that they would have to have footage of these, the second day and the third day. Those are the critical days that we have to look for. It's not the first and fourth day. It's these days. It's between these. After the first, you go to the second day here, and then third. So the second and third days are the critical days that we need to look for footage. Because this footage has never been seen. There is no footage of the astronauts being halfway from the Earth and the Moon, or on the third day reaching the Moon and being 1 day away, or 2 hours away from the Moon, or 2 hours away from the Earth, or 1 day away from the Earth, or 2 days away from the Earth. There is no footage between these sections here. None. So in a sense, if NASA says, well, we're 1 day away from the Moon, show us. 2 days, 3 days away. If you can't see the Moon, you can see the Earth. Because these critical views are necessary. We've never seen them.